Howdy. I'm about to start my latest little project, coming hot on the heels after my wooden drone project. More about that on the blog. So I've been thinking a bit about man overboard, or woman overboard, and decided that a scramble net or a boarding ladder, kind of scramble net, might be a good thing to have on board. I quite often go swimming off Sumara, and my preference is to have the dinghy blown up, so I just climb into the little rubber dinghy, which is easy, and then I just climb out of that on board. But I can climb onto the boat with a piece of rope looped over the winch. So I put my foot into the loop of the rope, and then I get my other foot up on the deck and kind of clamber out. But of course that's in my swimming gear, not fully laden. And it doesn't also take into account someone who might be kind of drowsy in a life raft, floating horizontally. So the idea of this is it's kind of a bit of a mixture of a swim ladder and a net that you can buckle someone up onto the side of the boat. You can buy some kind of scramble nets, but each boat is different, and Sumara's got a very low freeboard, so it's only about 18 inches, and it would be less than that if someone's kind of hanging off the side and there's a crew there assisting. So probably only talking about getting someone up, about a foot of freeboard. So I've come up with this drawing, and the thing I really like about kind of design and build is because you're the designer, you can just change things. So I used to find that when I was building kind of shop window displays for Beals, I'd find a piece of wood that was 4'6", and if it was drawn as 5 foot, hey, I'd just do it 4'6", who cares, you don't have to ask permission. And I've done this drawing and kind of looking at it, I'm thinking this kind of width here is quite narrow really. If someone was horizontally in the water, their body might tend to kind of fall out either side. So I'd quite like to increase the width at the top. And I'm also a little bit worried about the width at the bottom being a little bit wide to store, because my boat's very small. So there's going to be a few changes, but the plan is that this is a webbing loop that hooks over the winch. Now the winch is very strong. It's got a stainless steel bracket down to the deck, so even though I'm pulling in the wrong direction of the ropes, there's no chance of that breaking off. So the concept is that you toss the webbing loop over the winch. In the bottom here is a stainless steel pole, which sinks, and it's got on the end 2 fittings that will have a rope loop connected. It will also flop over the back of the winch. Now in between I've chosen webbing, and the webbing going across is going to be hollow, and inside it is going to be a 12mm solid nylon bar. So that will keep this spaced out, and it will be pretty strong and quite soft to stand on. In the middle will be an extra kind of support web going down to stop them bending too much. So the outside web is just a single web going up around over the winch, and these ones going across on the tubes. So I bought the material, and of course it's good to do these things a fair bit in advance, because you can make mistakes and have surprises. I was a little bit worried about the stainless steel tube, but I was going to go for inch thick. In fact, I went for 3/4 inch thick just because I noticed that the company that sells the webbing also sells 3/4 inch thick tubing. So I was going to save a bit of postage. And the minimum length of the jib was 1.5 metres. It's a bit annoying because that adds to the postage, and I only wanted 1 metre. But still, it does now give me that advantage that I can, if I make the bottom slightly smaller, say 800-900, I'll have a little play around soon, I've still got a nice offcut left to go at the top, because one of the worries is if you climb onto the net and put some weight on it, this top part squeezed together. So my concept now is that I have a stainless steel tube at the top, like a strong tube, which spaces it a bit wider at the top, not completely wide, but a bit wider, say 600mm, and it goes out to say 850 at the bottom. So I'm pretty sure this is strong enough. It looks, I think it's 16 gauge. I bought a couple of fittings at the end, so I've got to choose 2 shackles to go in those fittings. So there's a little bit of a gap there to take a shackle, and then I'll splice the rope loop to go over the top. Maybe that should be floating rope, maybe not. This is the nylon bar. Can't remember what grade of nylon it is, but if it's nylon 6, it'll be phenomenally strong. I've got some kind of rings made of nylon which are used on cod nets, and you can hammer them with a sledgehammer. You can't break the stuff, and it's got a fantastic breaking load. So the idea is that will go inside. By the way, I got the nylon tube. You can get it from loads of places. I bought it from a company called Metals for You. A bit bizarre because it's not a metal. But all the rest of the stuff I bought from Point North Fabrics, which I think also seems to go under the name of Pro Fabrics. But they're very good for all that kind of marine canvas wear stuff, sunbrella type stuff. Oh, how irritating. I brought my scissors with me. Get in there. Go get a pair of scissors. Here we go. It's got lots of little bits of hair on it, on the end of this nylon. It's got a fairly rough cut. So. That's it. So it does fit in there quite easily. So I went for a fluorescent yellow. Don't know why, wasn't much choice in colour. But that should be quite nice and soft to put your foot on if you're just going for a swim, and relatively soft on your rib cage if you're being par buckled up in the kind of emergency scramble net method. So at the sides, the actual webbing which goes over the winch and down is this, it's 1-inch polyester, it's all polyester webbing. So that, I haven't quite worked out how I'm going to do all this yet, but it does work. So I think that's going to get looped around and then sewn on my nice Sailrite sewing machine. Right, Tillman's joined me now. Oh, come on. Now, you might be saying, once I've got the person into the net, how am I going to get them up? Well, I have on board my little bag here, which I always carry. It's just a block and tackle set. I keep the hook clipped on the top, so it's kind of ready for action. And this comes out, and then there's a stonking great big, this is a scaffold, a scaffolder's hook on this end, which I reckon can kind of, it will get through webbing. You don't have to fiddle around kind of finding a shackle or anything or a clip. You just get through the webbing on their life jacket if they're wearing one. And then you just haul them up. This is a Harkin block, 6-way with a nice cam on the top. So I'd obviously I wouldn't be under sail if I've got someone overboard. When I drop the sail, they might just crash on the deck. Then I'll semi kind of scandalise the boom so it's up kind of a reasonable height. So I've got a bit of room for this block and tackle to play with. Then I can either pull them out by clipping onto the life jacket, or attaching to the rope, the par buckle rope that will go around the, I'd have to push it around the outside of them, and that would roll them up onto the deck. When they get up onto the boat, the stanchion might be in the way to pull them out, so I might devise a little quick release pin in the bottom. There's a bolt with a nylock at the moment, but I might put some kind of drop nose pin in that particular stanchion. These guardrail wires are on pelican hooks, but I've got stoppers on the wires here, so when you release the pelican hooks, the wires don't go slack at the front of the boat, so you don't lose another member of the crew by accident over the front. So it's very quick to release all of that. Yeah, and it will obviously take a bit of experimenting, working out how long to make this loop of rope. I might on the back of here put a little nylon cod end ring as a quick attachment point to get the big scaff hook in. But in any case, I'll do some more little shots as I get on with the building, and then when I get up to Scotland, I'll jump in the water and hopefully find an unsuspecting member of the crew walking down the pontoon to have a play with lifting me out. Great.